Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Well, hello and welcome to the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and today we're going to delve into Overcoming Cancer and Other Obstacles, episode 11. And it's been a little bit of a challenge the last few weeks, and I'm going to share some of this stuff with you. Some of it I'm going to be saving for a subscriber issue, as I'm going to get a little bit graphic and deep. And I have some subscribers that have shown their support for this show, and I'm going to give them their money's worth for sure. So if you're interested in hearing some of the glorious details, well, stay tuned and subscribe to the podcast, and you'll have access to some of this stuff. Otherwise, I'm going to be sharing, the PG version of everything. And so in the last 3 weeks, this mass has grown some, and I'll get graphic in the subscriber version, but it's definitely made a little bit of a move. And I got a $1,600 doctor bill from the last visit, and that went up from $900. So I guess they finished adding up all of the things that I have to pay for. And, we're working on a lot of projects, a lot of things. I think the biggest issue right now is I've been moving my business in the last 2 months, and it's been hugely stressful. And I'm choking it down and eating it because, I've got a lot of help and a lot of things happening. But I know that even though I'm getting my sleep and even though I got my diet, that stress definitely makes a weakened me. And even though, I'm doing all these things to be strong, definitely takes its toll. So I am definitely going to be glad that's finished. It looks like I've got tomorrow will be the last day of physically moving the stuff back home. And after that, it's going to be just organizing everything, getting everything in place. I'm a little concerned. I have the highest faith that I'm going to overcome this. I know it's going to turn around. I'm on point. My diet is strong, and I'll get into that in a future episode. I am getting back into the sauna. I'm doing the Rife machine daily. I'm doing the AO scan 3-4 days a week. I'm doing the amp coil magnetic frequency machine a couple times a week. I'm doing hydrogen peroxide therapy now. So I'm going through in the morning, first thing on an empty stomach. I'm drinking a glass of approximately 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide on an empty stomach. And it's horrible tasting stuff, but I've done it now 6 out of 7 days, maybe something like that. Doing pretty good. I'm also taking that same peroxide and putting it into my CPAP machine as a 3% treatment for about between 10 and 15 minutes. About every other day, I'm doing that. And taking moringa powder capsules, 2 capsules daily. I'm gonna be raising that up once I get my regimen a little bit more dialed in. And I've got a a moringa, what do you call it? A concentrate. It's a liquid, like a glycerin tincture type thing. I also have a Malva concentrate I started taking. I also have sour sop tea been drinking. I have so many things. Through this whole thing, though, I think one thing that I've learned is some people have stepped back. They reached out when they heard that I have this cancer. I told them, hey, listen in on the podcast, and you learn about it. I can't have this conversation with everybody I know every day. I just can't do it, won't do it. But this gives me an opportunity to share the updates and, have real life experiences with real life people. And, I read a thing the other day about, cancer ghosting, and I guess it's a big deal. People just can't deal with the fact that their friend or loved one has cancer, so they just stop talking to them. And I've noticed some of that happening. Then the opposite of that happens too. And I understand, you love and care for somebody and you want to help them. And so you want to know, what can I do? What's wrong? How are you feeling? All of these things. And you genuinely because you want to help. And yet I can't stop my day, 8 times a day and tell everybody the total story of where I've been since we last saw each other. And so these are things that are real and I have to deal with. And I wish it wasn't that way. And some of the worst of it is just having to deal with people and their experience with this. And when in fact I'm dealing with it, from both sides. And not sure exactly even how to deal with it, because my first priority is my health. And I hope if you're listening to this because you're going through a similar situation, that you do the same. When if I let this thing go and get away from me and kill me, then I'll be dead. And whatever memories I've left behind will be whatever they are. But we have lots of life left in us, lots of time, whatever that means. And I would say, if you're thinking that sort of thing, don't say goodbye to me, just, spend some time with me. That's what I would hope. Anyways, been hugely disappointed by a lot of the people that I've known in the past and their lack of being in my life right now. And at the same time, I'm completely blessed and joyous with the new people that have come into my life, that I've only recently been getting close with, and you people have been godsends. And I don't know why it's that way. I don't have any answers. Been doing vitamin D3. I take 3 bitter apricot seeds every day. I'm trying to think of some of the other things that I'm doing right now. I do oxygen therapy. I have this cell water that I put these drops into that's supposed to raise the oxygen intake. Doing fasting pretty regularly. I'm going to get more onto a fasting regimen once I'm finished with this move. Then the cannabis, that's probably the biggest gun. I'm pointing at this thing right now, and I'm a little frustrated because I was hoping it was going to really get in there and start working, but I don't see it happening, and I'm taking more and more, and I'm going to keep taking more and more until I get where I need to go. But with this giant bag sticking out of my side of my neck that I can see definitely is bigger than it was, and I'm not liking it. It's very humbling, all of this. And so some levels, basically my whole life, having to examine everything, every relationship, every item that I own as I'm going through this move, getting rid of so many things, having to be honest and just, look at myself in the eye and say, what is this? Does it belong? And I certainly think that there's an element of this that brings help to everybody. I know we've gone through a lot the last few weeks, the giant fires, people have lost everything they have. Still have a home. I'm super grateful for that. I'm super grateful for so many things, but I'm also a little bit, I don't know, a little sad because I don't have some of the freedoms I wish I had right now. And I need to get in and focus on that. Like, why don't I have the money to buy whatever I need and have these choices? I could be going to every doctor appointment. I could be going to every treatment. And instead I have to go, well, I don't have money for this. I can either sacrifice to get it or say no. And right now I'm saying no to a lot of things. So, all right, well, that's sort of the short version. I'm going to be doing a subscriber episode tonight that expands on some of the things I'm doing right now and gets into some of the more personal side of it. And if you're interested in that, subscribe to the show and you can have access to those. Anyways, all right. Thank you for all your support, and I will talk to you next time.
This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right, well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.